Welcome to Learning Strategies Instruction. I'm a peer educator and I am very excited to talk to you today about note-taking in a college classroom. Now, I know some of you might be thinking that you already have some note-taking strategies, or perhaps some of you are thinking you already have some ideas and you're not really sure what this video could offer you. Well, let me assure you that what you are about to embark on in this video will not only help you with your skills at note-taking in college classroom, but it will also help you to build your confidence and be more successful in a college lecture classroom. To begin, let's start off with a short video
of kings and rulers. It's produced by literate bureaucrats and Brahmins who are servants of the state. Practical knowledge is...
So I can imagine that some of you experience classes similar to this, and I'm sure there are also a wide range of other classroom experiences. However, we at LSI know that the majority of the time your classes are going to be lecture-based and the material is going to be dense and delivered in a way that might be difficult to keep up with. For that very reason, we are going to cover information that we hope will provide more clarity on note-taking. Our intent is that at the end of this presentation, you will understand what it means to engage in the material, apply some type of note-taking model, and make connections within your notes, all of which will occur during class, after class, and before the next class. We are going to start at the very core of note-taking, the during class part, if you will. This is where you receive your notes in the classroom and where you do the bulk of the application with various note-taking models. Sometimes it is hard enough to even jot down the notes, let alone figure out a model to apply or how to engage and connect with the notes. This is where a note-taking model comes in handy. Today we are going to show you 3 different versions. The first of those being Cornell notes. Second is a version based off of Cornell, the T-chart. And lastly, a basic outline. We will also discuss symbols to use during class, how to make personal comments, and condensing notes into shorter phrases. Here is Cornell note-taking. Draw a line 2 to 3 inches from the left down the left-hand side of the page. On the right, the bulk of the lecture will be recorded. We will focus on taking notes using concise sentences, shorthand symbols, abbreviations, and lists. After the lecture, in the Q column, we will want to write anything that is considered a main idea, any questions that connect points, diagrams that help you understand the information, or any type of study prompts. After the lecture, as a review, write in the summary column at the bottom your inferences or summaries of that day's lecture. Having your notes structured and organized will help you stay engaged and connected to the material. Cornell notes have key components to them, such as organization, picking out main ideas, making connections between the main ideas, and engaging in note-taking, all of which make your notes that much better. Here are a few other examples of note-taking during class. First, the T-chart, which helps to divide and conquer our notes. Using this graphic organizer makes our notes easier to read while also giving us the opportunity to record main ideas during the class. Here's another version of a T-chart with an additional column for questions. The questions could be for the professor, to look up in your textbook, or simply to help you think beyond the in-class information. We look at our last method for note-taking, the outline. This may not be very new to some of you, and perhaps this is a version of note-taking for those who have an aversion to T-charts. An outline can still allow for the connecting of ideas and engaging with the material. For example, drawing arrows between main ideas, identifying unknown words, or using symbols are great ways to make your outline that much more engaging. Symbols are actually an idea presented in Cornell notes and are perhaps one of the best ways to stay interactive and connected to your notes while listening in class, regardless of what model you use. As we think about our notes and what it is our professor is trying to teach us, we may have questions that come up, or we may hear a piece of information that is very important and perhaps even new or surprising. Those thoughts that we have are important and we want to capture them on paper. So picture yourself tired and ready to leave class. But before that, stop. Stay seated. I know, after class, staying seated is the last thing you want to do, but hear me out. What if you reviewed for 15 minutes right after the class? going over your notes and making sure you understand everything, figuring out ahead of time what questions you have for the next class, reviewing any difficult concepts, and figuring out where to find the answers, making connections, and wondering what it is you even talked about for the past hour and 15 minutes. Want to know something even more helpful? After sitting in your lecture class, you actually only retain 5% of the information. That's right, 5%. Fortunately, there is a way to make that percentage go up. By going over your notes right after class, or at least within the next 24 hours, you can increase your retention rate. In fact, right after class, be sure to pull out any remaining main ideas that perhaps you missed during the lecture. Connect those main ideas and identify information where you may need more details. Identify any questions you may have. Put your notes in a concept map, color code them, and keep working with them to engage and connect as much as possible. Then, before your next class, review the notes from the previous class. Have your questions ready from the previous lecture in order to ask the professor or a classmate. Pick out the model of note-taking you want to use before class begins, and be sure to check on Canvas for any possible PowerPoints the professor may have posted. I promise that if you follow these steps and figure out a note-taking strategy that works for you, while also figuring out how you can engage and connect with your notes, you'll be on your way to getting that good grade you've always wanted and always known you could achieve.